Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope you're doing well. My name is Lauren, and on this channel I talk about healing chronic fatigue, chronic illnesses, chronic symptoms, chronic pain by healing old childhood trauma, specifically attachment or developmental or complex trauma. Many different ways to refer to this type of trauma. I talk about my own journey, which I am very much still on. And I talk about what I've learned and what I'm learning still, and the most important things that I've learned, and in the different things that come up and the different things that are important to understand on this journey. Today I really wanted to just spontaneously it's sort of a spontaneous video, and I don't know if I'm even going to edit it. I might just put it in with all the spaces and pauses and times when I have to scratch my nose or take a drink of water, or my cat gets her tail in my face and I have to pick all the hairs off of it. But anyway, I'm coming to you because, this month, these times that we are living in, oh my God. For those out there who are super sensitive to these energies that we're living in, these energies of the planet that we're feeling, they're so intense. I don't know what your experience has been, but from the people that I've talked to and my own experience, it's like in one way or another, this is my take on it, in one way or another, it's like the stuff in us, the old low vibrational, wounded parts. I don't even like referring to them as low vibration. I think that's true, but it's just, I don't like thinking of it as low or high, like one versus like better than the other, because they're all beautiful, but these wounded parts of us, these traumas that are, oh my gosh, there was a bug on my window, and I think it was a cicada. We're having a lot of cicadas right now, and it was on my screen, and a bird just flew up and snatched it. Kind of amazing, and he perched there for a second, which was pretty cool. I'm sorry, cicada. So these energies that we're living in, it feels like in one way or another, however that shows up for you, it seems like we're feeling like in the darkness coming up to be seen. I mean, for those of us on a trauma healing journey, that can look like old traumas coming up. That's definitely what it's been for me. And it has not been an easy or pretty process, I have to say. I've had beautiful moments and huge releases, new releases, things that I haven't touched before. But there's been a lot of stuck energy. And I'm in some right now. And all I can really tune into is the deep despair. There's despair, sadness, grief about where I am in my life right now. That's the trigger, but that, it always goes back to childhood. Sorry, my cat is like trying to chew on my cords. It all goes back to childhood, and gosh, I'm sorry, I don't even know where to start, because it feels like so much. So it's like the reason I wanted to pop in today was just because there's just so much happening. There's so much being unearthed. And when things are first unearthed, it can feel like just darkness. Just the darkness. It's all we can feel at first, when it's like something that's been living in the dark for all of our lives. And it's like the first time you shine a flashlight on it, it's like, ugh, like I can't even look at that. It's awful. And with trauma, it's like all of our defenses come in. And so we can have symptoms flare up. We can have, my experience of it is just misery. It's just like, I can't, it's hard to even explain. It's just internal misery. It's what happens when emotions get stuck. One very prominent, like thematic, a theme in my emotional healing journey is stuck anger. Stuck anger. And I've learned over the years that stuck anger feels like heaviness, despair, powerlessness, collapse, freeze. And that's been a pretty prominent description of, the arc of my illness and, triggered states afterwards. That heaviness, the powerlessness, the hopelessness. Hopelessness, is that anger? That one's not so much the anger, but it can be. It can be, because it's a signature of depression, and depression is suppressed anger towards the self, or just collapsed. So I'm aware, because I'm having a lot of these experiences, there is anger here. And I've been sitting with it and sitting with it and sitting with it and vocalizing and speaking with it and asking it questions, compassionate questions, parts work, just sitting with it, being present, letting it be there, a lot of vocalization. And I've gotten some, and I've gotten a lot of disgust. And I think that might be what I mostly want to talk about on this video, because it's become a very prominent, it's been a very, very prominent signature energy that I've been working with in the last couple months. And it's brought up a lot of darkness with it. So I know there's some anger here. I just can't. I know there's more that I just haven't reached. I know there's more grief here that I just haven't reached. And this has just been the last week, but really all of Taurus season. Since the end of April, let's be honest. Since the solar eclipse in Aries, April 8th, everything kind of changed. The energy changed. And I can't say it happened on the day, but ever since then, things have been like spiraling quickly, unraveling quickly. But in the unraveling is the gross, like the misery, the suffering, all this the unconscious stuff that comes up to be seen. But when it tries to come up, it's like, it's cut off by our defenses, by these parts of us that are trying to protect us, saying, no, you can't see that. That's too dangerous. Your life is at risk if you see that. It's the old wiring that's in us. So we just got to keep coming back to it. This is for me too. This is like, I've just got to keep coming back to it with compassion. And believe me, I have moments of not having compassion, of just pure exasperation, frustration. There was a day, I think it was last week, that I was so angry but I was trying to keep it all in, because that's what we do, right? If you relate to this, I'm with you. Because I don't want to hurt anybody. I'm not trying to spew my anger anywhere, but I am like exploding with anger, and there's like this destructive energy that's coming with it. It's rage coming out of my pores, coming up with this energy. The rage of self-suppression. Whenever I say rage, my mind always says the rage of self-suppression, because that is what it is. Rage is what comes from emotions suppressed. Anger, disgust, these emotions that get pushed down, ability to speak and express how you truly, authentically feel in a situation. That suppression of the throat, the suppression of the feeling, not allowing it to be, that suppression of emotion, that suppression of anger, that suppression of self, it creates this pressure cooker. And that's why when we have rage, because the result is rage is pushing out. It's like, I can't stay in here anymore. I must be seen. See me. I must be seen. That's why it's loud. That's why it's got this sort of violent energy that's very forceful and pushes out. It always feels to me like it's like electricity coming out of my pores. Like I can't even, like I can try to hold it in and it just like is coming out of my pores. It's because we've created a pressure cooker, and it can't stay under that kind of pressure for your whole life. Eventually it's gonna come out. It's gotta come out. And the best thing that we can do for ourselves is to create outlets for it to come out, because it's got to come out. It's got to come out. One way that it starts leaking, and you know that it needs to come out, is if you start getting really irritable, prickly, pissed off. And everything that people do, every little thing, dropping something on the floor. I'm sure I've talked about this before. It's one of my triggers. Dropping something on the floor, or running into something, or making some like physical fumble. And then I get a really angry response. It has started becoming a signal for me. There is rage present here, and I just was not acknowledging it. I wasn't aware of it. There is rage wanting to come out of my body. And being late, that just happened the other day. I had to do some serious screaming just because late taking my son to school. It was so triggering. And that morning, there was so much other stuff. It was just like a volcano was coming up. I don't know if you guys have this experience, but so often, one day to the next is not, this is like obvious. One day to the next is not like congruent. It's like you wake up in the morning and all of a sudden there is like a volcano. There is a volcano trying to seep out of you. You're about to explode. And I have had this happen so many times. One plug here for the only supplement that I've used intermittently is glutathione. Those lozenges that you put under your tongue, because they will soften the rage. When I have rage, so when my son was little and I would have rage and I didn't know how to work with it. I was like, I do not know how to deal with this. I would take 2 glutathiones under my tongue, and that would help calm the rage. So just interesting little tip. In general, I don't take any other supplements because most make me not feel well. My body just rejects them. It's like I continue to get this message. That's not the answer. That's not the answer. Stop looking outside of yourself. It's the trap that I have talked about on this channel. The trap of looking outside of yourself for the answers that are inside. The answer is inside. The need is to be validated, for all of these feelings to be seen and validated, all of these experiences to be seen and validated. So anyway, little tangent on glutathione is helpful for rage. But we don't need glutathione to help us unless like we're in a situation where that rage really cannot come out right now, which was true when I was taking care of my son, of course. So we need an outlet to release that rage, the rage of self-suppression. I find rage is embedded with every new emotion that comes up for me, or like a new layer of grief, a new layer of anger that hasn't been expressed, a new layer of any emotion, difficult emotion that it was still in my unconscious and I'm now like unwrapping it. Rage is always like a layer of that. As I start to untangle it, I find rage almost always, because it's been suppressed. It's been suppressed for so long. And it's like, why have I had to suppress this? That's the rage. Why did I have to suppress this? Why did I have to make myself so small? And it can have different, whatever language you want to put to it. And it doesn't even need language. It needs voice. It needs to be screamed. It needs to be pushed. It needs to be moved through the body in this way, vocalized and somaticized. Is that a word? Embodied. One of the new emotional venture that I've been on in the last month has been disgust. Disgust first came up for me after a medium session where I spoke to one of my grandmothers. And that was my first real experience with a full body release of disgust. And I've made a previous video on that. Ever since then, it's like that awakened my awareness of disgust as an energy that has been stuck in my body. Disgust. I'm sorry, I'm trying to decide. I don't want this video to be too long, so I might stop and make a separate video on disgust because I have a lot that I want to talk about with it. Yeah, I think I am going to do that. Just to give myself sort of like a little breathing room and you not having to watch a really long video. The main reason I wanted to come in today was to validate you if you are finding this energy really difficult. If you're finding yourself in stuck energy, in pits of darkness, and you're having trouble finding the light. That might not be true for many of you. I don't know. It might be true for a lot of you. But I know a lot is rising to the surface for a lot of people. And for me, it has just looked like a lot of darkness because it's like that initial shining into the light and it goes into the disgust because that has been the kind of linchpin of like getting in touch with disgust has revealed these layers of pain that I hadn't accessed before. And it's been a really interesting experience working with disgust because it's not talked about a lot, and I'm finding it is a very important energy for the solar plexus. The solar plexus is a really important chakra to be talking about with chronic fatigue and adrenal fatigue. The ability to move in the world, take action, go out into the world, that interaction with the world, take action is a really, and the energies that suppress that ability, if we find that we have consistent, which is me, chronic experience of not being able to access that ability to go out and achieve what I want to achieve. I keep running up against blocks. That's been my life experience. And so I've learned that the energy, as I've done this healing work, the energies that block that are fear, anger, unprocessed anger, and disgust, unprocessed disgust, unwitnessed, unacknowledged anger and disgust are the primary emotions. Fear is usually of those things. The fear is the layer that shows up the most prominently. So it shows up as anxiety, it shows up as fear. And fear is very loud. So it keeps the other energies at bay. It's usually a fear of anger, and it's a fear of disgust. Those are dangerous energies for children to feel when you're in an environment where you do not feel safe attachments. One or both of your attachments are insecure. You can't feel where the ground is. Or not the ground, but the connection. Where is the connection? Where are you? Where are you? I can't reach you. And I'm trying all these strategies and I can't reach you. When we don't feel that, when we don't have that, that's when we learn that things like anger and disgust are not safe emotions to have. So they get buried and suppressed. And that wreaks havoc on our ability to access solar plexus energy. So I apologize if this video was a little rambling, but I just wanted to pop in and quickly, or sort of spontaneously, because these are big, and but I have so much confidence that I know we're going to reach, this is coming up for a reason. It's coming up to die. These things are coming up to be seen so they can move out. They're not coming up to stay. They don't want to stay. They want to move out. But to validate the fact that when you first feel these energies, they're just covered in so much darkness and misery and suffering. However that shows up for you, it can be really intense. I'm in there with you. And I know that the energies are going to shift. There's a lot of intensity right now, and the universe will bring us some relief, I believe. We will move through this. Just keep, like I am going to be continuing to do, just keep bringing as much presence and compassion as you possibly can to these energies. That's what they need to move. And they need consistency, just coming back again and again and again, saying, I'm here. I'm listening. I want to see you. I want to feel you. I'm here with you. You're not alone. I'm here. And I'm listening. That consistency over time is what brings these energies up, closer to the actual emotion, from misery to actual emotion, from whether that's emotional misery or physical misery, to convert it to actual emotion. Sometimes you need to be seeing it again and again and again over time. It varies person to person, wound to wound, time to time, of how long that needs, but that's what it needs, and it will happen. So I am with you here on this journey with you, and we're going to get through this. So I hope you guys are doing really well, and I hope Taurus season has been a beautiful one for you. I know a lot of people have been struggling. I know a lot of people who have had beautiful Taurus experiences, so it really varies. So I hope you're doing well. I hope you're feeling strong in your healing journey. We're in this together, and we will get through it. All right. I look forward to talking to you guys soon. Take care. Bye.